Not a lot of news today. The US released new unemployment claim numbers, coming out as expected at 230,000. These numbers are coming in after last week's important NFP event where unemployment rate remained unchanged. Reminder, PPI numbers are releasing tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time here in the US, and you can watch TraderNick cover the news event live right here on the A1 Trading YouTube channel.
All right, so here we are taking a look at the watch list here in the A1 Edge Finder. Of course, the watch list is where we see all of our currency pairs, indices, and commodities that we currently have listed in the Edge Finder, along with their buy or sell signal. And we've had a little bit of a change up since yesterday. USD CAD was our strongest buy, coming in at a score of +7. It's now down to a +5, tied with a bunch of other different pairs that are all +5. Of course, most of them are New Zealand dollar because we just can't seem to escape the New Zealand dollar. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take away indices and commodities. I'm going to take away our neutral bias as well, just so that we're left with our buy and sell signals. So no strong buys, but a lot of buys, +3, +4, and a lot of +5s. Couple sells, and then our main strong sells that have been strong sells for, I can't even remember how long, Euro NZD, Aussie NZD, GBP NZD. Now, I can say that part of the reason I know USD CAD fell to this score of +5 is in part because, and I forgot to mention this the other day when these new Canadian interest rate numbers came out.
Are you brand new to trading? Do you have a strategy that's not going so well and maybe you think you need some help, or maybe you just don't even know where to start? Well, lucky for you, A1 Trading has a trading help desk. All you have to do is fill out this form. At the bottom of the form is a list of things that you might need some help with. After you select that, we'll send you an email with a playlist of free videos from our YouTube channels, some tips on where you might want to begin, and even examples from our in-house traders and what they do in these situations. We'll even give you a peek at some trading tools that we provide that could help. Use the link in the description, the A1 Trading Help Desk. Click that link and get started now.
So on yesterday, new Canadian interest rate numbers came out, raising interest rates 50 basis points up to 4.25%. And that, of course, is now higher than the US interest rate number at 4%, giving this pair a interest rate score of -1. So dropping that score down to the +5 rating from the +7 rating. Now, if we go back into the watch list, we want to take a look at, let's see, what would be a good pair to look at? Euro CHF is catching my eye because I don't remember the last time we caught up on Euro or Swiss franc numbers. CHF JPY as well. We've taken a look at a lot of NZD numbers. We're definitely going to take a look at US numbers tomorrow after our PPI news event. We've taken a look at Canadian dollar and Aussie. So how about, let's do this. We're going to do Euro CHF today. Minor currency pairs, Euro CHF right here. Euro CHF coming in at a buy score of +3. Our COT data is a score of +2. Our retail sentiment is a score of +1.
What did he say?
And if we come over here, we can see that our institutional trader data currently has the euro sitting at a 66.98% long, 33.02% short, so slightly favored over here on the long side. Of course, when we're talking about it from a 50-50 point of perspective, we're about, we'll call it 17% higher than the 50-50 side here for the euro on the long side. But the Swiss franc, on the other hand, is absolutely smashing it over here on the short side, 91.36% short and 8.64% long from institutional traders on the Swiss franc. So they are heavily favored on the short side when it comes to the Swiss franc. Retail traders, on the other hand, are basically 50-50 on this pair, 52% long, 48% short. So retail traders split, institutional traders mostly buying the euro, but absolutely selling the Swiss franc right now. Our seasonality is a score of -1. We can look here at our last 10-year average and last 5-year average, and we can see that both of them are sitting below this neutral 0 line here, meaning that historically speaking, this pair tends to not perform quite as well in the month of December. And we can see here from our current year average that so far that has in fact been the case. Just barely dropping below that line right there. Our trend rating is a score of +2. And we can see some pretty decent upward momentum ever since about November 24th. Since November 24th, we've been making moves to the upside, haven't dipped back down. A little bit of a dip down here, possibly testing some support right here, but then breaking back up to this level here. And our price forecast predicts that this will continue to be the case, creating new highs here. Now, again, this is only a buy score of a +3, which is not very high. So this is something to keep an eye out for. If Euro CHF continues to move higher up to a score of +4, +5, +6 into that strong buy area, then we know that we've definitely got something to take a look at. But with the score of +3, taking a look at all these numbers here, it's something to keep on your radar. Look at the charts, see if this is something that you predict will continue to move this way, and maybe you can get in early or wait a little bit longer. Keep it on your radar, keep it on your watch list. And if things continue to move this way, then you can hop in at a later date and hopefully catch a nice trade here as well. But we're going to finish up fundamentally GDP growth and interest rates coming out with scores of +1, inflation and unemployment scores of -1. We can look at those fundamental numbers right here. Euro GDP growth 0.3% compared to Swiss franc 0.2%. Euro inflation pretty high, all the way up to 10% compared to the Swiss 3% inflation. Unemployment, again, fairly high in the Eurozone, 6.5% compared to Swiss 2% inflation. And interest rates, both fairly low for both of these currencies. Euro 2% compared to Swiss only 0.5% interest rates. All right, so that was a quick look at the Euro CHF breakdown. I need to take a look at the market heat map as well. We need to see how our currency pairs have been moving so far today and how our indices have been moving as well. So here up top, we have our major US pairs. USD CAD, biggest mover to the downside so far, down -0.59%. And that makes sense. We did see that score drop after those new Canadian interest rate numbers came out, proving a little bit more bullish for the Canadian dollar than the US dollar. So this drop makes sense. Aussie US still on the rise. I believe that was our top mover yesterday as well, up 0.79% so far on the day today. Our indices are performing a little bit better, at least the US 30, S&P 500, and NASDAQ are. If I remember correctly, I believe every single one of our indices was down yesterday. German 30 and UK 100, just very slight moves to the downside, kind of staying the same. JP225 down 0.4% so far today. I can actually look here and see that oil and the US 10Y, along with the NASDAQ, are our biggest movers to the upside so far. Oil having a nice little rebound on the day, up 2.06% so far today. So oil, which has been selling off fairly hard, having a nice little rebound, up 2% today so far. Euro pairs mostly shooting towards the downside. Euro AUD down 0.4%. Euro USD up 0.32%. Same with the pound pairs. We're looking at pretty much the same thing. Euro, yen, US pound pairs up a little bit today, but the rest of them are down. Yen pairs for the most part are up today, which is surprising. The yen has not been performing too well, but most of our yen pairs except for USD JPY are up today. Aussie JPY up 0.68%. Swiss franc pairs are pretty split. We did just look at Euro CHF, which is actually down only 0.16%, so a very small move to the downside so far. CHF JPY is our biggest mover for the Swiss franc pairs, up 0.44%. And our Australian and New Zealand dollar pairs are very split right now. Aussie pairs mostly moving to the upside. GBP AUD down 0.53%. Aussie USD up 0.79%.
So let's take a look at the Edge Finder, see what's going on today. Ooh, we have no strong sells today. Actually, yes, we do. Sorry, I said that wrong. Strong sell. Sorry, we have no strong buys today. No strong buys in the Edge Finder today, though we do have some buys. US 30 still up on the list. You have the NZD crosses. We need to go check those out. So we have Euro NZD, Aussie NZD, Pound New Zealand, still down there further down. And then we have New Zealand Yen, Dollar CAD, So this is going to be our watch list for the day. By the way, for those of you who use the Edge Finder, a little bit of it's a minor update, but it might be a major update if you're one of the traders out there using the Edge Finder every day. Check this out. We just changed this name. Instead of score chart summary, we've changed the name to this window to just watch list. I think it's more intuitive for people who are using it, and it's truly what many traders, myself included, when we use the Edge Finder, this is what we use to help find watch list potentials, right? The idea here is the watch list will just generate the highest and lowest potential scores or potential buys and sells, giving us the most extreme scores on the Edge Finder. What does the score represent? Well, look across the screen and you have all these different columns: trend reading, GDP growth, inflation. And we can analyze all these different assets. Of course, there's even more when we include the neutral ones. There is, I've lost count. I think there's over 30 assets that we track: gold, the S&P, all the crosses. So what this thing does is it takes all these different columns, tallies them up and gives us a score, right? And so I like to, when I'm doing the watch list part of my stream, I like to take off the neutrals because then it just limits. I have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 charts that are on my potential watch list, or like potential trade setup watch list. And that makes my trading so much simpler because I know, and I could even get more extreme with it. I could just go, show me the most extreme readings, which gives me 3 to look at. And so, let's go look at Euro NZD. Why not? It's an extreme reading. So I made some money on this one from the Edge Finder. I sold up in this area when price pulled back, gave me that entry for me, sold 1.07 lots and held it for several days, held it for about a week, closed out here. That trade was about a $1,700 profit. So, I'm looking for an opportunity to potentially get short again on the Euro New Zealand. If price retests this area, there might be another attempt. We saw a lot of rejection here. So watch that for that, you guys. For those of you who are Edge Finder traders, I don't even know. We need to come up with some cool slogan or something. But for those of you who trade using the Edge Finder, there's a lot of you. That's something I'm watching for. It's pullbacks on this Euro New Zealand dollar cross. If we can get that, I will be paying attention to that for a possible sell. We're not quite there today. This is a 4-hour chart. So let's move on to the next Edge Finder watch list tool, the AUD NZD. By the way, you guys, we'll drop a link here in the chat. If you want to try out the Edge Finder for yourself, click the link that we're dropping in the chat. There is a way to get a free trial or request more information, chat with one of our team members. We have several people who are trained to assist traders with getting started with the Edge Finder. If you would like to get trained in how to trade with the Edge Finder, fill out this link, just dropped in the chat, and someone will help you out. Okay. So yeah. Next one, AUD NZD. We'll take a look at this one really quick, see if there's anything here. AUD NZD. This one looks like it's trying to pull back. Let's draw some fibs. So this one's still a little bit of a ways for me before I can get an entry, but there might be a second chance to try this area out here. The 38.2 looking possibly pretty juicy here if price makes a little bit of a run up into this area. So we just drew our fibs from the swing high around 1.082 down to our low, and it gave us these 3 levels, right? This is the technical side. So for the traders out there who use the Edge Finder on a regular basis, you know how this kind of works. We start with the Edge Finder, we build a fundamental and sentiment-based bias, then we look for technical setups. And so it adds that confirmation to the technical side of the trading, right? I think I saw a poll today by my friend Jess, FOREX 101, not FOREX 101, FOREX Tips 101 on Instagram. She put out a poll, and her poll requested people to choose whether they use or they prefer fundamentals or technicals. 90%, off the top of my head, I think it was like 90% of that poll, people chose technicals. And I get it. Technicals are awesome. They can be really, really handy. But the point is, if most traders only focus on technicals and most traders also lose money, there's probably something there where like fundamentals are a key missing factor for many traders. And the big reason for that is because fundamentals are more difficult. There's just There's just more to know and more to learn, in my opinion, when it comes to fundamentals. That's just, again, that's my take on it, but fundamentals are tricky. There's a lot to them. The Edge Finder tries to make that a little bit easier. So if price pulls back, again, we have confirmation from the Edge Finder, 38.2. That level looks pretty good, in my opinion, for a sell attempt. Still considering the fact that we could be wrong, right? We're not guaranteed a win or anything like that. But something like this, where we give the stop above the 50%, that's a 40 pip stop, looking for continuation play on this downtrend. Sure, it looks like it's oversold, but that's a trap that we've talked about many times on stream. You know, when something seems like it's gone too far, oftentimes that's just before it goes further, right? That's the tricky part about markets. You know, people trying to buy the bottom or sell the top, it's a tricky way to play the markets. I find it to be incredibly difficult compared to just going with the flow and looking for opportunities, because I think trend following is a little bit more forgiving than trying to just jump in front of a train. Just, you know, from my own experience, everything sort of got a lot easier for me once I started going with the momentum with my discretionary trading rather than trying to go against it. So yeah, I do like AUD NZD on a pullback. So that might be one to watch out for.
So EuroCHF, someone requested. Yeah, EuroCHF is a bit of a myth at the moment. It's very corrective. I'm not a fan of this price action at all. You can see it is just moving to the upside, all these high lows. So it's a very weak uptrend. I did say on my stream earlier today that if you can get a breakout of this resistance here, nice little retest could provide a good opportunity to go long into this prior high up here. But it looks like the market's failing on that break. Again, the breakout's been very poor. This is a very poor breakout. You want to see some nice confident candle closes above. This is very weak. You know, some people will say, yes, slightly closed above, but I wouldn't trade that personally. So yeah, EuroCHF is still making high lows. There potentially could be a little buy set up here to take it up higher. I personally wouldn't, because we're starting to see the market fail at these highs now, which is not a good sign. Yeah, it just depends which way the market wants to break out. It could break to the upside and see a push into that. In that case, wait for the break and retest to take the buys. Or we could snap through this, and that could be the start of a bit of a bearish trend, and the higher time frame trend kicking in, and you could see the market work its way back down into these lows here, and some nice sells on the pullback could be nice as well. So yeah, I would say if you're looking at your CHF, wait for the breakout, because everything is very corrective in this area, and I think any trade in this area here is most likely not worthwhile. Can be very corrective unless you're looking for a quick scalp, maybe. But even EuroCHF is not really the best pair to scalp anyway. Explain correlation for us to know the best trade to take in a day. I wouldn't say correlation gives you the best trade to take. Correlation is it's not like an indicator to buy or sell. Correlation is just the fact that, for example, Euro USD and Pound USD, obviously they're partnered with the dollar currency, so they're going to have similar price action in terms of the dollar is going to be a big effect on Euro USD and a big effect on Pound USD. So they're going to be heavily correlated in terms of the direction of their trend. Obviously, Euro and Pound are different currencies, but they're quite similar as well. But they will have their own kind of input, which is why they're obviously slightly different. But in terms of correlation to find a trade, I mean, I suppose if you're looking at the DXY, which is looking bearish, you can take that information to the euro. But I'm a big advocate of just trading what you see. You know, if the Euro USD is trending up, look for buys. Obviously, if it's a part of your plan. If Euro USD is trending down, look for sells. I wouldn't say, okay, Euro USD is looking bearish, and now I'm going to go and trade Pound USD short. You know, I'll only look at the chart in their own respect.
Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you need broker recommendations, access to our free Discord, or want to chat with us on Telegram. If you're interested in our trading software, the Edge Finder, you can find that in the description as well. Thanks for watching.